You're listening to Built to Convert, the podcast where growth-minded marketers, founders, and creators come to level up. No hype, no guesswork, just bold insights that drive results. Let's go.
Welcome to Built to Convert, the podcast where we dig into how strategy, analytics, and creativity drive meaningful growth. I'm your host, Tyler Lane, founder of Session Interactive, and each week I sit down with operators, founders, and marketers building momentum inside today's most exciting companies. This episode is brought to you by Session Interactive, the digital performance agency that helps B2B and B2C brands scale with SEO, paid media, and analytics. We partner with in-house teams to drive leads, sharpen strategy, and convert traffic into results. Learn more at sessioninteractive.com. All right, guys, today joining me is Lisa Larson-Kelley, founder and CEO of Quantious, a New York-based marketing agency that sits at the intersection of strategy, emerging technology, and digital enablement. Lisa's career spans nearly 2 decades of pioneering work, from building interactive web solutions to leading marketing transformation projects with enterprise brands, a couple that you may know, Google, Adobe, Facebook, no big deal. She's also a Vistage member, Skillshare, Pluralsight instructor, and a sought-after guide for clients looking to bridge the gap between technology and creativity. More importantly, Lisa's just a great person and someone I really look up to and been lucky enough to know and interact with over the last couple of years. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Tyler. That was a warm welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really, really honored to be on your podcast.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Lisa and I are members of we were members of a previous mastermind and now a couple different ones. And it's been nice to reconnect and always appreciate your time, advice, and things that you share. It's really impressive. Lisa, let's start off here. I'd love to just kind of, you have a pretty fascinating career, and we mentioned right before we started recording here, a Flash consultant, a tech educator, to now CEO, and it's come a long way, right? Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about a career, some of the highlights, but more importantly, kind of what you've been up to the last couple of years with Quantious.
Yeah, it's just it is quite a journey, winding road for sure that we are on as agency owners. Constant pivots. I started out actually as a graphic designer way back when, and had that whole career. And then really, I've always been a geek, loved computers back in the day. I had an Apple II,
Oh yeah.
Sitting on the kitchen counter, and just I never saw it as a career, tech, because it wasn't back in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was always sort of on the back burner, but it was infused in what I was doing. I really enjoyed doing marketing and telling stories around tech. And that's where I've really found that sweet spot, and I brought the two together. So that has been from day one our focus at Quantious. And we established just as a consulting company. It was me. I think we were talking, Tyler, that we were kind of had the same trajectories, just kind of build. You get the opportunity and you say yes, and take that step before you're even ready, right? Hire the people and take on the big client when it comes your way. But it fuels growth. So, saying yes, leaning in is really the only way. So based on that, just built up a team. We're now 26 people. We're fully remote. We were in person pre-COVID, but we were already set up for remote. I mean, using contractors. I'm sure you grew that way too. Yeah. It's the agency way, and so we kind of had that sort of connective tissue anyway. And then we just all started working remotely. And once we did that, it opened up a whole new talent pool, a whole a new way of working. So we've grown now to 26 people around the world, really, mostly US based.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work with large agencies, and we call what we do marketing enablement. And it was a really big struggle to figure out what that was. We go in and solve problems. Like you say, you say yes to everything. So you're always taking on different things, right? You find the area, your sweet spots, but marketing enablement really incorporates it. It's process, strategy, and execution.
Mm-hmm.
We find gaps in those 3 areas and fill them with custom solutions. Whether that's in person, full-time dedicated people to perform a role, or putting together the right team of cross-functional team to project manage or do creative, build out those teams internally.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the breakdown, Lisa. Super helpful. The graphic designer piece resonates with me a little bit. I wanted to be a graphic designer. I've talked about this a few times on the podcast and realized I was terrible at it. One, and I'm curious your thoughts around that subject, because for me, I was working with designers, and it was evident that they got assigned a task and a number of hours. Be creative. You've got 4 hours. Do it. I'm curious your thoughts. Has that shaped your perspective now when delegating tasks to team members, especially on the creative side? Because and knowing that you have that position, that reference and that history. Anyway, that was just always like bizarre to me, and just being able to okay, I guess I have to be creative. This is my window.
Yeah, and the multitasking, you can't be checking your email at the same time that you're trying. We know that doesnkind work. It does give a different perspective to it, and gives, I think it kind of forces me to be a little more flexible with everyone. We already are pretty flexible about your working hours, but like some people that, need to turn on that creative juice, it only works in the morning.
I know.
Or in the case of our creative director, he's, sometimes it's only 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up in the morning and he'll have something, but then I give him the flexibility, like, okay, well, I won't see you again till, 2:00 this afternoon. That kind of flexibility, I think, with creativity is the only way to really make it work. So that 9 to 5 creative position is just, it can't work as efficiently, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like set a deadline, have internal expectations, of course, but realize that, who cares when you work, when you get it done. Obviously,
you're getting it done.
Hopefully,
you need to go.
Yeah,
you got to go take a walk and let it marinate for a little while. Go take a walk. You're not at your desk. Like it's not going to work.
Exactly. The model has changed, and we know that for sure. Lisa, talk about your services a bit, and how clients interact and engage with you. Is it typically clients are coming to you with an acute issue? They're coming to you with a plethora of problems, and you kind of pick and choose what you're good at. You mentioned that saying yes. I know that mentality. And that's important to take shape. And I know you're at a place now where you still do that, but you're also selective.
You have to be selective.
You've matured and you've grown.
Right. It's super important. You've got, a reputation. You want to deliver the best, right? And if something like, we can do it, it just is not something you probably want to take on.
I know.
It's just we were just quoting, for example, on someone came to us that we had worked with in the past on his brand. And he was like, I realize now that it's time for me to redo my entire website. And, I've been Frankensteining it for years, and I'm ready to, turn it into this clean brand and just reimagine things. And when we had done that exercise with him for his brand, we gave him a few examples of, these are things you could do for your website. You really should do this or that, right? So he came to us to do that. So I was putting together the quote, and I still fall into the yes, but I have a COO who keeps me honest.
Same.
You got to have the balance. So I put together the quote for him, including the development of the website. It's not really what we do. We do everything else, and that piece is we'll usually partner with someone who that's what we do, right? But I started putting together the whole thing, thinking, well, we could outsource. We could get, I've got some trusted partners and things. We could just package it together, and there's, Katie was just like, Lisa, we're not going to do that piece. So I gave them the option of this, we're just going to do the design piece, take it right up, and we know that you can't just toss it over the wall to a developer, right? You have to put it together. So bringing that together. And I feel like that's one of our big strengths is kind of looking at that big picture and not saying, this is our piece, we'll just deliver this. We really look at, and because a lot of our clients are enterprise, right? They're big. So they've got, it's the marketing department, but then they also have a brand marketing. They have partner marketing. They've got growth. They have these different hands in the pot, and everybody's got their playground that they want to play in, but they need to talk to each other. And a lot of times our client will be, say the, brand marketer. We try to build into whatever they've hired us to do, having that conversation across different departments, and it heads off so many issues in the future, like making sure it goes through legal first. Do you have a legal, all of these questions that that just a lot of times agency won't ask because they've been delivered, they've got the brief, and you're going to deliver to the brief, right? So really expanding out and looking at that whole picture. And then so we have this, process, strategy, and execution sort of process where we have that lens that we look through.
That's really helpful to understand. What are some strategies or tactics to try to enable those conversations in those larger companies? Because I think, again, you and I were talking, it's like, do you bake it into your discovery process and you have to meet with these subject matter experts? And then what's the continuous, because that's further exposure for you guys to demonstrate the great work you can do. What are some strategies and tactics around that? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because you're just a small fish in this big, bigger, say we're working in enterprise, which is where most of our work is, even mid-market. Like, you're coming in as a service provider, right? You can't go in and start saying, I need a meeting with, your CMO.
Exactly.
It's a little difficult sometimes to get that. But it's so important to lay that out in discovery. And also, whoever your points of contact is, or, for us, whoever our point of contact is, we want to make them shine. And we try to get that across them. Like, we are doing this so that you look good. So in that vein, who is going to be approving this stuff? Who do you need to impress? What do they care about? Like, really digging into what those success metrics are. And then based on that, saying, okay, if it really matters to the head of sales, that you're getting more qualified leads, or other, whatever the criteria is that sales head of sales cares about, or maybe it's sales enablement materials that are useful, things like that. Then let's focus on those metrics and bake that into what we're doing, and make sure that we're sending things early on to them like loop them into the approval process, or somehow make them feel engaged in it without adding any friction. Just those kinds of, I guess it's a little political, and we have to manage, sort of navigate all those internal politics. But I feel like that is where we bring a lot of value, is that we've kind of been there and we've seen that, and we know what some of those people care about in general. And we can ask those questions that maybe our point of contact is just trying to get that campaign out the door. Like, that's their goal,
We need to check this box. And
yeah, exactly. And they're already shorthanded, and they're already dealing with politics and, whatever. If we can help to kind of head some of that stuff off early in the process by engaging with additional people, it adds a lot of value.
Yeah, so true. And just honing in, I think there's going to be those corporate overarching goals, of course, but then there's going to be the department level goals and individual KPIs. It's amazing. Having to deal with that is a skill set, 100%. And as we were talking to you before, it's just, it's going to benefit the client. It's going to benefit the holistic brand. It's really important there. Lisa, as you guys, your career from consulting into formalizing the agency now at 26 people, decent, headcount, start process, things are starting to evolve. Probably where I'm going here with everything that's changing in the marketplace.
Mhm.
How have you found to bridge the gap or ensure your team members are up to speed? They have a perspective on what's happening with AI, with automation, machine learning, things like that, because you're going to get it. You already have started getting those questions from the clients.
Mhm.
In certain cases, the clients are, knowledgeable, but oftentimes not
They're
necessarily.
overwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed. You're right.
Yeah.
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 So how do you educate your team to make sure they're up to speed? Everything's
Mhm.
changing like crazy, and then of course looking to transition, or not transition necessarily, but um, bestow that insight into the client and make sure they're aware of what you got going on and how this can improve their day to day.
Right. Um,
Large question there.
that is a big one. It's
Yeah. Give me the exact solution. Step one. What? Yeah.
I think we were at least like a half step ahead in that
Mhm.
we focus on tech.
Yep.
So it's not like I'm trying to infuse, the use of
Mm.
different cutting edge technologies into, a traditional local ad agency or something,
Mhm.
right? So,
Exactly.
we have that mindset, and we've kind of hired. That's one of our values is curiosity and
Mhm.
long time, lifelong learning, all of that. So, everybody on the team really, is already set up with that. And then, it's just been trying to bake it into our day to day as much as possible. I've got, uh, our own dedicated GPTs and things like that we've set up that they can use are in our sandbox that are secure, which is important for our clients, that everything be totally secure.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've kind of set up that environment for everybody. We've
Hmm.
got, we do a newsletter once a week, or I guess it's every 2 weeks now, with like the latest in tech and marketing, what's happening. So we're asking the whole team to contribute to that. Like you find an article, what's interesting to you, and then, we compile all that in a Slack channel. So
Smart.
there's like that sort of always on paying attention to what's out there happening. And then we've got an AI channel in Slack
Hmm.
where we, hey, I just discovered this. This can, I used this prompt, but I've used this tool, that kind of thing. So we're sharing knowledge there with each other. And then once a month, we've got a like a show and tell type thing, where someone will actually, we'll all get on like a 15-20 minute meeting, and someone will show off something that they've learned or done.
Yeah. No, that's great.
So
It's
yeah, and then we pay for professional development as well. Whoever, whatever courses you want to take and things like that.
how do you find because obviously you work in technology, you have creatives, then that they're working with technologists who, in certain cases, at these brands.
Mhm.
Um, kind of what lessons have you learned with working the creative angle, and then trying to make sure, as I mentioned before, like bestow that insight into those, or um, make sure those individuals are aware of what you're doing. Are you finding like creatives are um, skeptical or intimidated in certain cases with what they're putting out there? And
Mhm.
then I'm curious your thoughts too on how your own team or your clients too are like, hey, why don't you just like, why is this taking so long, or things like that, or expectations being set unrealistically? I'm curious just because with all the tools and things that are out there. Um,
Yeah, I found with creatives, designers, like in that sort
mm,
of really creative realm, has been the most locked down. And like,
mhm.
what is that AI? What do can we use AI for this? Because
Yeah.
it's so much easier to identify, right? I mean, well, less and less every day. Something visual created by AI
Hmm.
versus something written. there are tells. I think I wrote an article recently in Inc. magazine about like what are the main tells of AI writing, and it's not M dashes.
Yeah.
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 Been using them for decades.
Exactly. How dare
I
ChatGPT
can't.
blow that up on me? Yeah.
He stole it from my writing.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, I feel like like the visual piece is so touchy.
Mm.
People get creeped out by it. Like if you read a piece of AI, semi slop, it gives you a feeling, but nothing like seeing a visual that
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
just not quite right. What was it, the Coca-Cola Christmas commercial everybody freaked out about?
Which, yeah, remind me on that one. Which,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was one of the first commercials, like completely
AI.
the visuals were all AI. It was humans pulled the AI footage together and
Yep.
stitched it and whatever. So there
Sure.
was involvement.
Yep.
And there's some retouching and things, but it was using that like sort of cartoony imaging from Coca-Cola Christmas, that kind of branding that they use
Yeah. Yeah.
and feel, but it was like synthetic. But it tried to be warm and fuzzy. It just didn't work.
Didn't work. Yeah.
Didn't work. And it was not cool. um, so yeah, I feel like the creatives are a little more reluctant, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to use AI. But I believe it's really thinking about ways to use it to take away the drudgery of it. Like, there's no reason why. We were hired a year ago, a little over a year ago, to take Figmas from
Mm-hmm.
an agent, a big agency that came up with
Sure.
a big flashy thing, and do the production of, changing it, all of the ad creative into 20 different sizes, different headlines, and, producing all of that actually, those Figma files.
Sure.
Yeah, I can do, like, that is something AI should do. That
Yeah.
is not something a human should need to do, resizing things,
Yeah.
dropping in different languages,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. I mean, it was a great project and we were paid well because we did it over the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I missed that work, but we could be doing more creative things with
Yeah.
our time. And that's where I feel like the creatives need to start thinking about how can I automate? What parts of my job can I automate that will allow me to have that more free, open, creative time to think?
That's such a great point because I think that is the positioning statement. I think moving forward around just generative AI in general, right? It's just
Yeah.
around utilizing it as a strategic partner, having to assist and or building workflows to automate some of these mundane or remedial tasks. You're absolutely right. Those Figma files, creating sizes and all of that. That should absolutely. That's a incredibly time consuming task
Canva's been promising that for ages,
for
but
ages. Yeah, but no. Yeah.
yeah, not quite.
I think that is, to me, that's how, I mean, this was more of a conversation a number of months ago, but to me, it was really around having the creatives be aware of that and having the team members be aware of that. Like, we're not trying to replace you. We're ultimately
Right.
trying to be a strategic partner here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And have you found that to be, are they understanding that these days?
Yeah, I think again, a lot of these themes have come up in previous podcast episodes as well, as like the skepticism, the trepidation, the intimidation in certain cases, and then the reluctance too, because like, hey, I'm focused on client work. When do I have time to do this? And it's like, okay, great, I understand that. All right, so we're going to allocate time, mandate that. We're going to create efficiencies, and then
Mm-hmm.
we're going to bring in outside consultants in certain cases too to help give you an understand. And I think that too, Lisa, is like setting that up, but also just saying like, we're going to put some things out. We're going to build it
Mm-hmm.
in certain cases just to allow you to ideate, to
Right.
think about certain things. And
Mm-hmm.
I do think just relying on those mundane remedial tasks too, initially can help just get that, establish that runway for them to think about like, oh, that can help me. And I can focus now, hopefully when that's built out, now I can focus on more strategic more impactful things that I can use my experience on.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, Tyler, I think that's where we are going to provide value as agencies going forward, because our clients are, eventually they are going to be mandated to use AI, or they're going to need to figure it out, whatever, but they will have already done it.
Exactly.
We'll have that sort of muscle already that we can go in and help them uncover the areas for efficiencies, and then we can help them build that and refine it and make sure it's on brand and, meeting all of the marketing needs. But like, even just because we've done, we have to do it for ourselves, we could offer it to them as well, and that provide that human connection and value.
You and I are incredibly aligned with that, because I think for us, you're offering more solution based, like we'll figure out the solution, which is awesome. I love that. We are too, but we're more channel specific.
Yeah.
And honestly, I envision us being less channel specific and more, still fixated on marketing, but more kind of business immersion component, and coming in, building GPTs, building workflows to not only help us, but really building those out for the client specifically. So we're more kind of, we're strategists, we're implementing things still 100%. We're fixated on core goals and KPIs, but we're diversifying our offerings a lot more. I think we have to. And I'm not saying every agency has to be full service or do any of that, not by no means. But I think we're gonna see that evolution. You need to see that, because I also think a lot of agencies that are not adapting, I think most are, honestly, that I've seen, are not adapting or want to result back to traditional efforts, will be irrelevant in certain cases. Yeah. Good old AI component around that. Let's go back to your team structure, Lisa, because again, you and I are a lot of the same, because we're similar team sizes, and we both really had started this and pre-COVID, and then going through this. I'm curious, because a lot of doors open, right? A lot of the creativity, the talent pool when you go remote. I'm curious your thoughts though on that word culture and what that means to you, because it's not the Zoom happy hour. That's not culture. What does it mean to you, that word? That's always something I'm fascinated by, and what you've been able to, because I know your team's bought in, they're doing some amazing work, and clearly that stems from you.
Oh, well, yeah. And, Katie as well has been amazing in helping me develop it more. Like Quantious has always been sort of where my heart is, and I bring that to my team, because I really do feel that way. And we don't call ourselves a family.
Not a family. Yeah.
We're a team. We're we're a championship team.
Sure.
And we care about each other. We're all working together. And then, but Katie has really kind of helped me because she's also in charge of HR. So she does the one-on-ones and all of that. So she's really like taken that and built those branches out into the team in various ways. So, we run an EOS, so we meet every week. Every team meets on the entrepreneurial operating system.
Of course.
And so each of the teams will meet, and then we meet once a week as well. So we have we've got that cadence, which I think is important. It's like, non-negotiable time that we're spending together to communicate about what's going on in issues.
Yeah.
Right. We're on Slack all day together as well. So there's a lot of communication. I mean, I just feel like having those avenues of communication are super important when you're remote.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
And expectations are set about when people are available and things like that. And I feel like we've really sort of established that. That's the scaffolding, right? If you don't have that, then, all of the cultural efforts don't have anything to sit on. And then we really have boiled down our values and bake them into everything that we do. So we build bridges over roadblocks. We've paved the path for others, and we communicate with care and candor. And that's like those, and we used to have like 6 or 7, like all of these things. Like, no, these are the 3 areas.
Yep.
Anyways, these are the 3 areas that we focus on. And then we live those. Like, we do reach out. Like, if somebody has a little downtime, like, how can I help? What can I do for you? We really feel like everybody is balanced in that way. Like, there isn't just one person who keeps saying, I can help you, There's that interconnectedness between everyone. And then, we do feel like, or we're very transparent also about our numbers. So everybody kind of knows where we're at. We give them quarterly updates.
Great.
We try to bonus a quarterly and things like that. And then we get together once a year, at least, if not, try every 9 months for Camp Quantious. And we'll get together for a week and hang out together in person. Last time we went to Puerto Rico, we didn't even get a conference room, because who wants to go to Puerto Rico and sit in a conference room?
Conference room, exactly.
Yeah. So we got a couple of cabanas and we just, enjoyed our time together and talked a little bit about work and strategies and things, but it was really about just, we spend more of our lives together than we do with our families, with our friends.
I know.
Sleeping, like, So let's try to make the most of it. So that's how we look at culture. Is it's just a core part of what we do.
I think I love what the proactive outreach to individuals. I think in certain cases, you're going to have a team member or multiple team members that are, hey, I do this. This is, I contribute to the team, of course. Yeah. But maybe they're not don't necessarily need to be theoretically as engaged with other team members. So even just a proactive, hey, how you doing? Checking in. Nothing.
Yep. Yeah. That's another thing. We've got Donut. We use this. We've got this thing in Slack where it randomly puts 2 people together, and you have to be for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's every 2 weeks, I think. And then we take a selfie.
Speed dating.
Yeah, like a speed dating.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. Mm-hmm. These are little tricks of the trade I always learn from Lisa. So this is cool. Lisa, it's always a pleasure, and thanks for just the chat. Really love your perspective on what you guys are doing around AI, the culture component, of course, in your story. It's always impressive, and always appreciate your time. How can people learn more about you? And I know, talk about Inc. You're crushing it on those. And I read that recent article, and then Quantious too. How can people engage with the brand?
Yeah. So we just relaunched our rebrand of our website. Went live yesterday, Quantious.com.
Awesome.
So that's exciting. I would love to have everybody check that out. Yeah. And we have a free assessment as well that finds gaps in your marketing. It's mostly for clients, but I think agencies could use it too, honestly. It basically just finds areas in process strategy and execution that you might, find some areas for improvement in how you do things. And that's totally free. It's on the website.
Great.
Yeah. So
okay.
Provide value in that way. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And you're engaged and posting on LinkedIn quite a bit too. So reach out and connect with Lisa on LinkedIn.
We're also the AI Marketing Connect.
Yes,
is the LinkedIn group that we are kind of co-moderating with Desiree Motomidi, who's the CMO at Salesforce.
Yeah,
one of our clients, and so we're
casual name drop there. I love it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Desiree and her team, and
she's amazing. She's asked us to kind of help moderate that. So it's a great group. Everybody's kind of sharing knowledge. So
cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. And go ahead and join that. I think we're just, everyone should be willing and open to learn. And there's a lot going on right now.
Exactly. Have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Yeah. I love that, Lisa. Excellent. Well, great to see you, Lisa. Thanks again for your time. We'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tyler.
Of course. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Built to Convert. If you're serious about growth, don't just listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for new episodes that drop straight into your feed. Until next time, keep building.